telling my community that you guys need to start practicing group economics because during this time, you know what I'm saying, you see it's going to be a large wealth transfer during this next 4 years. So you need to do what you need to do, however big or however small you can do it, right? Even if it's just giving two brothers a job or helping the youngsters in the neighborhood get some equipment to cut grass, whatever it is, man. Start practicing these group economics because it's going to be a struggle for a minute. Truth be told, that I understand.
There are white people who are up in arms, screaming, yelling, burning, marching.
Yeah,
nobody cares.
The problem is,
I keep trying to tell people is what's happening in America right now. Respectfully, is white people's karma. Now, black people need to get out the way and focus on themselves. Everybody has to get moved out of the way, whether they get moved out of the way by force or by will. But this is white people's karma.
Yeah. Yo, microphone check 1 2 1 2. It's 3rd Degree back with it, DYP crew. I came to give you something that you didn't expect. Right now, I'm about to show you that. Now we're all on deck. Yeah, I let the beat skip, and you already know I'm about to freak it. Real nice and slow, we let it go. And I hear some noises in the background, but it's that sound that I'ma get to. I'm about to show you right now, but it'll affect you. Whatever I say, it's so damn unique. When I go through, it make you move your feet. I can write to any type of beat, and I keep it concrete. Yes, I'm so damn unique. Welcome back, like I said, Mr. Relevant. You ain't fucking with me, so I guess it's celibate. And I'm hella bent, nah, not exactly. But I see some folks looking tacky, trying to sneak this on the subliminal. Right now, I'm just a smooth young criminal, like young Mike Jack back in the prime. You can hate all you want, but you ain't taking mine. Nah, you ain't really gonna affect my shine. Like I said one time, I make you nickel and dime. Yeah, I got it on lock, I step on the spot. You about to see right now, we about to go and drop. 1 cent, 2 cent, 3 cent, 4. 3 cents, 5 cents, 6 cents more. Then I'm about to show you what we all got in store. And I got the topics you can't ignore. I just know what else to say. So we're about to go ahead and let the show play. Yo, it was good, man. It was good. Mic check 1 2 1 2.
What's good, my brother? What's good, man? How y'all feeling today?
Yeah, I'm here, man. How about you?
Man, living a dream, man. I can't complain.
No doubt, man. So you doing the live? I'm like, dang.
Hey, I'm in the lab, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm in the lab. Hey, I challenged my team to go live 21 days straight. So I'm doing it with them. So that was day 5, and you know what I'm saying. I got 16 more to go, but we gonna be after it. You know what I'm saying. Creating good habits in 2025.
Right, I feel it, man.
Yes, sir. But shit, I was already in the lab, so I was like, "Hey, man, let me go ahead and knock this live out before we start the show." You know what I'm saying? And get it together. Man. But how y'all been? Y'all been blessed? Y'all been good?
Just speak, please. I got her a mic, some headphones, and she ain't checking none of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm about to take all this shit back.
Damn.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
I see you with your Lakers jersey on, man. I seen y'all last night with the Kobe statue. All that good stuff, man. Beautiful thing.
Man, I'm trying to tell you. It was pretty dope, man. Like, we got there kind of late due to the rain, and once we got in there, you know, because you got to get situated. It's like traffic trying to even get to your seat. Then you get situated. Then you got to go dig back through traffic to go get some food. So by the time that we actually sat down to actually enjoy it, you know what I'm saying, the Lakers made the comeback. So
there you go. There you go. All in his timing. There ain't nothing wrong with that.
Word to Big Bird. How am I sounding, man?
No, you sound good. You sound good.
Okay, good. Sorry about the misstep from last week. You know, I was so much going on.
Nah, it's good. I was just talking to a brother out there. So he was telling me about some masonry. So I told him, I said, man, we might have to dive into that one of these shows. You know what I'm saying?
Mason.
Yeah, he a Mason. So he was dropping some jewels on me. So I was like, man, I'm gonna talk to my bro, man. We might have to have you come up here and drop some.
He's a Mason. If he's a Mason, he's not supposed to be speaking on certain things like that.
Well, I mean, he ain't give me too much, but you know what I mean. He just was talking about.
You're not part of a lodge, so I don't know about all that.
Yeah, I don't listen. Don't come for me.
They were all one, so you know.
Yeah,
you know, some, and you know, you ain't supposed to be doing all that. Certain things you're supposed to be keeping to yourself.
Yeah, so hey, he want to drop some jewels on you. I don't know. You know, neither here nor there. But let's get after the show.
Ain't getting me shot. So, all right. So let's go ahead and let's. It sounded really, really ratchet. You know what I'm saying? So
let's get after that ratchet news, man. What we got?
Let's get into it.
Yo, what's good, y'all? It's your boy 3rd Degree, and we're back with more ratchet news. Well, some of it's ratchet, some of it's not, but we still got to talk about it. So let's go. Well, as soon as we got through with our show last week, tragedy struck. Singer Angie Stone passed away in a tragic car accident, and it was really sad. You know, she gave us countless classic music and songs and hits. So, you know, RIP to her, and we're sending our condolences and prayers to her family. Also, we want to send a RIP to Dwayne Wiggins of Tony. Man, he passed away today. And, you know, I think he's been battling, some type of form of cancer. You know, man, it's just really sad. It's bladder cancer, actually. It's really, really sad. You know, we're losing a lot of our greats. You know what I'm saying? It's all within God's timing. But this one hit because this dude, I went and I seen him, and I seen him live, and the genius of this dude, I think he was completely, truly underrated, and he was a timeless legend, and he will be missed. House Republicans push to remove Black Lives Matter Plaza in D.C. And you black folks voted for him, huh? Hey, moving on. Well, in boxing news, Gervonta Tank Davis took on Lamont Roach Jr., and it was a great squabble, and there was controversy, too, with a lot of people believing that Roach actually was robbed of the fight. So we shall wait to see if we get a rematch, you know? Moving on. The Oscars also took place, and what's his name? Conan O'Brien, I believe that's his name. He made a comment saying, now we're halfway through the show, which means it's time for Kendrick Lamar to come out and call Drake a pedophile. Don't worry, I'm lawyered up. I mean, it was just savage. You know it's over for Drake when you got comedians just roasting you at the Oscars. Moving on. Freeway Rick Ross reignites beef with rapper Rick Ross. I don't even understand what the beef is about. You know what I'm saying? Like, the rapper Rick Ross, his name is not even really Rick Ross, it's William Roberts. So you took this man's name, you kind of took his image, and now you beef with him? Right, moving on. White rapper Jen Lee says, I'm that jigga and I stand on it, end quote. Yeah. Moving on. The Notorious B.I.G.'s catalog is reportedly on sale for $150 million. Jeez Louise. Moving on. Woman who accused Jay-Z of sexual assault and dropped her lawsuit against him defends her allegations, claims she's terrified of him and he's intimidating her. Because Jigga turned around and is suing not only her, but the lawyer for defamation, as he should. Go get him, Jigga. Moving on. A man walked 280 miles to cool off after arguing with his wife. I don't blame him, man. Sometimes it's what it takes, man, right? All right, moving on. Mom, an adult film star, explains why she walks around naked at home with her teenage son. Okay. Moving on. For you black Trumpers out there who voted for Trump and you may sell some street pharmaceuticals, Trump pushes for the death penalty for drug dealers. Trump says he's ready for the death penalty for drug dealers, claiming it's the key to ending drug problems. We'll talk about this too. Moving on. Trump pauses aid to Ukraine after a fiery meeting with Zelensky. Just to go ahead and give Russia the upper hand in their war, right? What a crook. Moving on. Trump's butt buddy, Elon Musk, urges Trump to think about pardoning George Floyd's murderer. Well, why? They tell you what they think about you yet. You got moving on. China says they are ready for any type of war with the U.S. following Donald Trump's tariffs. We don't want no beef with China. Moving on. Wendy's Junior Hamburger is reportedly the healthiest fast food burger in America. Moving on. Wait, before we leave out, Trump administration hit with over 100 lawsuits since inauguration. I can believe it. Moving on. Hate crimes are on the rise in California with black community as the most targeted group. I wonder why. Moving on. Man robs Brinks armored truck at Chase for $1 million. Crazy. Times are getting that hard, yo. Times are getting that hard. Trying to get that paper. Moving on. Shout out to my Lakers for getting the win last night against the New York Knicks. I was there. Dope game. I had Jess with me and my number one Laker fan of my Aunt Paula, you know, because she's a Laker fan. Just like she taught me this Laker life, you know. It was, just being there live, you know what I'm saying? Just watching history be made. It was actually really, really, really dope as the Lakers got that dub and we're still in second place. So let's go Lakers. Let's go. Oh, but speaking of Lakers, though, LeBron James checked Stephen A. Smith. I'm going to tell you one time, bro, keep my son out this ish, bro. Hey, as he should. Stand on business, man. Stand on business. Oh, speaking of the orange guy and his butt buddy, Trump claims South African farmers face land confiscation and promises U.S. citizenship pathway. Oh, I wonder why and how. But anyway, that land in South Africa isn't even theirs to begin with, but that's a whole nother just moving on. Rapper Doechii reveals being a straight man is the biggest red flag when dating. You have to break this one down, Doechii. We love you out here. Come on, don't be attacking the straight dudes. You know what I'm saying? What's going on? We need clarification. Moving on. Pittsburgh woman goes into Target to remind people that they're supposed to be boycotting. Moving on. Last but not least is bobblehead. Dwayne KEEFE D. Davis speaks out for the first time after arrest for murder of Tupac and saying that he's innocent, that he was framed and all this other bull crap. We're going to talk about it tonight, y'all. Anyway, I'm Third Degree and that's been your Ratchet News. Enjoy the show. Peace.
Man, my brother. Sometimes you be making my head hurt. I'm gonna just say that. Sometimes you be making my head hurt, bro. Oh my goodness. Did Nancy Pelosi call you today, or what y'all talk about? Is that man? Right, I can understand one or two, but you have about 8 clips of that man. You know what I'm saying? That we don't pay attention to negative behaviors. You know what I'm saying? Let that man be crazy over there. That's all. You know what I'm saying? You can show that man a lot of free publicity.
I mean, what more do you want? He makes news himself. You know what I'm saying? This is like, it's not me just purposely going, hey, let me find some Trump. You know, this
Nigga does and says stupid ish that makes the news. So
hey man,
don't get mad at me. Get mad at your orange uncle.
Hey, that ain't no kinfolk of mine. All my people melanated. You know what I'm saying? all my people. He's closer to your uncle than he is to me. We'll see that.
I mean, shit. You jumping up like you Kanye defending this motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm not defending him.
Don't, not my daddy Trump. Don't talk about my daddy Trump. Oh,
hey,
good Lord, Jesus.
Don't do that. No.
How is he defending him, though?
I just think it's
the mic far away.
How is he defending him?
Hey, thank you.
When you just said that you're giving him free publicity.
Thank you, my sister.
Yeah, thank you for going to the other side.
Right.
Yeah, no loyalty over here. Fuck me. You know what I'm saying?
There's only right, wrong, and the in between.
No, I'm just saying. Okay, got it. Duly noted. Support.
No, but outside of that, shout out to Edgy Stone, man. Shout out to that sister. You know what I mean? She been in the game a long time. I don't think people realize how long Miss Stone been influential in hip hop and in neo soul and R&B. Man, she been around for a cool minute.
I think she was one of the first female. Excuse me, she's part of the first female rap group to be signed to Sugar Hill Records or something.
Yeah, she was writing hooks and everything for them. That's what I'm saying. She been around a long time. So shouts out to that sisters. I ain't gonna throw my tinfoil do-rag on, but it is kind of odd. You know what I mean? That she was just talking about getting the money they owed her, and then they get hit by 18-wheeler, and she the only one that died out of the 9 people in the car. But that's neither here nor there. Just rest in peace to our queen, man. She got the biggest Black love song known to man.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't really a huge fan. I've seen her maybe a few times over at like a few jazz festivals and stuff like that. I respect her artistry. You know what I'm saying? Like her vocals are undeniable. You know what I'm saying? But I think I was talking with somebody before where I think that not all reality TV is good for certain people. You get what I'm saying? Like, for God rest her soul, Whitney Houston, I don't think she should never got on reality TV. Sometimes it just kind of brings out the other side of people. You know what I'm saying? So, but on top of that, though, I mean, her pen game is strong, her vocal game is strong, her performance game is strong. So, she's definitely an icon. You know what I'm saying? Definitely a queen, you know what I'm saying? So RIP to her, you know what I'm saying? Condolences to her family. But the one that kind of hit me in the gut was Dwayne Wiggins, Tony, because I mean they played like a huge part of like the soundtrack to my childhood, you know what I'm saying? And man, I didn't really appreciate Tony until I actually seen them live, maybe like some years ago. You know what I'm saying? Like Raphael Sadiq wasn't necessarily in the group, but it was Dwayne Wiggins, and I just thought he was more so of like the background dude. You know what I mean? Because I was younger. But when I started seeing like his musicianship, man, like playing the guitar, doing this, and how he was conducting the whole band, I'm like, dude, this dude is a bona fide genius. Like bona fide genius, solidified.
Absolutely. But it's coming. I think we get into that age where a lot of our heroes are starting to disappear, which is a
right
unfortunate phase of life, man. Where we reach the age of the people that we grew up listening to, watching, you know what I'm saying, interacting with, that were the elders, are starting to disappear, and very rapidly. It's like back to back, which is crazy. You know what I'm saying? But the best you can hope for is to leave this world and leave the impression that these people left, man, which is something that I be trying to chase down every day, man.
Right.
I want somebody to speak about me the way I speak about them. You know what I mean?
True.
When it's all said and done. So something to look forward to is still unfortunate, but you know what I mean? We just old, nigga. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
You gotta think we in our 40s, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, we
Yeah,
watched
man.
people since we was teenagers and middle schoolers, and you know what I mean? So you gotta realize they probably was 10, 15, 20, 30 years, 40 years older than us, and they can't live forever. But it's
Very
always
true.
sad. It's always sad, man.
It's always sad, you know what I'm saying? I mean, death is a part of life, you know what I'm saying? No doubt. But at the end of the day, like I said before, man, like with certain people, you know what I'm saying, that we truly get blessed with, you know what I'm saying? Especially like with the Dwayne Wiggins. I mean, he's a founding member of Tony. And I think that they're completely underrated. And I'm saying this to say because they came out here, last year. And, you know, and just my money was a little tight. So it was either, okay, pay for these tickets or skip out on the bill. I actually chose the bill. But something was telling me in my gut, like, hey, this show's important. You definitely got to go. And then when I finally had the money, those tickets were like through the roof. And I don't know. I should have did it because I'm telling you, like, actually seeing them live, man, especially with Raphael Sadiq in the fold, which is another like underrated genius. Yeah, I missed out on that one. You know, you got to definitely appreciate the ones that you got. This goes for like, you know, outside of celebrities and all this other stuff, but definitely appreciate the ones that you have here. Cherish them, cherish every moment, live for the day.
Amen to that, my brother. Amen to that.
Man.
We gotta take care of the legends, man. It's the community's job to keep these legends alive, man. We gotta take care of these people.
Mm-hmm.
If we love them like we say we do, we got to take care of them. That's my take.
Word to Big Bird.
Good stuff. What we getting into though this week, man?
Man, we got, you know, again, my fault for last week. I was ready to go, and technical difficulties kind of threw your boy out of the game. But you know, we're back in full effect. This week, you know, we got a few things. We got into so much politics last year that I wanted to try to take a long break from it, you know, saying especially with the inevitable because of who we have in office. But there's certain things that we just can't ignore, so we have to kind of touch on. One of them is the State of the Union address, you know, which we actually saw some Democrats actually get outside of their skin.
You should have put that in the Ratchet News.
Oh no, it's good. It's part of the topic.
so is the Orange Man. You know?
Right. He's part of the topic. He's in there. The video's in there. You know what I'm saying? So also, you know, a friend of mine, you know, who used to perform with me around in Hollywood, KJ Smith, had made some headways with some comments that she made saying that Black Americans should consider living abroad due to the political climate that we are in. So we want to dissect that in a minute. Also, too, and dang, I forgot to put up the clips, but you know, there was a rapper that was unalived by two haters, him and his innocent daughter, and we wanted to talk about some of the pains and some of the ills that afflict our community. You know what I'm saying? And we wanted to touch upon that a little bit. Also, too, just recently, and you know, it's something that's good, near and dear to me. You know, Keefe D, Dwayne Keefe D Davis came out and said that he is innocent and that he was paid to lie and that it was orchestrated. And, you know, it just, again, you know, we have to touch on that a little bit because, again, reality TV, these cameras, these mics, they're not made for everybody. And sometimes they can be your downfall and your detriment.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody want to be famous and get clicks and algorithms and all this other stuff, and then sometimes they can be your downfall. So
man, I just told my son today. He was telling me because he got injured a couple weeks ago, But he was like, man, they saying I'm slow. Woo, woo. I said, hey, man, if you live for the cheers, you're going to die when they boo. You're going to die when they boo.
Very true.
Yeah, you shouldn't be concerned with how people look at you or their opinion of you. It has nothing to do with you. So when you make a decision, don't make it based off how somebody else felt about you. Make it based on how you feel about you. But, you know, to go to the point, there's too many people out here doing things in the name of fame that they wouldn't do normally to get a bag. And if you got to get a bag that way, you know what I'm saying? It never ends well. So
we're gonna definitely talk about it. So before we get started, I want to say thank you to the YouTube family who's out there watching. Shout out to the Facebook crew. Another thing that was happening was they were flagging me with the music. So we'd be on Facebook for a minute and then they'll take it off because of the copyrights, whatever. And, you know, my distributor, sometimes it's like I have to go to war with my distributor about my own music on my platform. So, you know, it's kind of crazy. So I tried something different with the intro as far as like the countdown with a different type of tune. But, you know, so that kind of threw us off. So we're back in effect. So if you guys are on Facebook, thank you. Make sure you guys hit the like and the share button. Share this onto your feed. Invite people to come on, especially if they got thoughts, views, and opinions on some of these topics. If you're on YouTube, damn it, I forgot to put the link up. My bad. But, you know, just stay in the comments, you know what I'm saying? Rock with us. You know, we will try to get to the comments as we go. Also, too, if we got the link on Facebook, if you want to come on and be a guest, the link is pinned in the comments. Make sure that you have your Wi-Fi on. You're in a nice, good, quiet spot. We don't need any distractions in the background. Also, if you're going to be using your phone, make sure that you're using headphones because they will work as a microphone. And that microphone picks up everything. So please, no eating, no smoking, no background distractions, whatever. Just sit still, get in a nice, quiet spot. You can come in, drop your 3 cents, and you can bounce if you want. Also, too, some of the thoughts, views, and opinions that are expressed by the people that come on here are those alone. They don't necessarily reflect the cast of the show unless you hear it come out of our mouths. So if you have any type of quarrels or any type of thing, take it up with those people, but just know that they don't represent the collective, which is the Drop Your 3 Cent crew.
Absolutely. Great disclaimer.
Word to Big Bird. So let's get into a little promo and let's get it started. Yeah.
You're wasting time. Hello, family. I'm Marquez.
Hey, you guys, and I'm Denisha.
We all want the best for our children, right? Security, opportunities, and a future filled with endless possibilities.
That's right, but here's the question. What are you doing today to create that future? Imagine building a business that creates generational wealth, leaving a legacy that grows even when you're not working, showing your children what it means to dream big and take action.
That's right. With Planet Marketing, we offer you the opportunity to earn income while still being present with and for your family. We show you how to invest in their future while securing your own and teach them by example what financial freedom should look like.
And don't just tell your kids to dream big, show them how it's done.
That's right. Comment below or
you could just message us for a direct link to our presentation.
Word, and we are back.
What's going on? Great stuff. Hey, let's get straight into it then, man. We 30 minutes in, baby. Where you want to start?
Where do we want to go? Where do we want to go?
I think we should save the politics for last.
Absolutely. I agree with Jess.
Hold on one sec, y'all.
I completely agree with Jess on that one. Let's start with your kinfolk, KEEFE D. You know what I'm saying? Because I did see that interview. It's amazing how quickly facts change.
Hold on a sec, y'all. Let's go ahead.
The death of rap legend Tupac Shakur nearly 30 years ago became one of the nation's most notorious unsolved murders.
Hey, Keith, Metro Police, come over here.
Then in 2023, a breakthrough when prosecutors charged this man with ordering the hit, the only person arrested for Shakur's murder, who now tells ABC News authorities have the wrong man.
I'm innocent. I ain't killed nobody, never did ever kill nobody. They don't have no evidence against me. Came and put me in Las Vegas.
61-year-old Dwayne KEEFE D. Davis says the night of the murder, September 7th, 1996, he was in Los Angeles, 300 miles from the Las Vegas intersection where Tupac Shakur was gunned down.
Prove that I orchestrated this. You know what I'm saying? Your key witness orchestrated this. They top witness is the lead suspect.
The defense pointing to someone else, Reggie Wright Jr., a former cop and security guard for record mogul Suge Knight, who was driving the car Tupac was in the night he was shot. The death of rap legend Tupac Shakur.
We are back.
It get real different when they put that 25 on there. You know what I'm saying?
Man, the snakes are slithering in the grass. The snakes are slithering in the grass.
They throw that 25. I was at church. I wasn't even over there. You know what I'm saying? That's wild, bro. You wrote a whole book.
He wrote a whole book. He's done countless interviews. Like I said, shout out to the Art of Dialogue. He was on the Art of Dialogue, Vlad TV, Cam Capone. He went on BET Chronicles of all things. Crazy. And he stated that, he was right there in the car. He handed the pistol to the back seat. He wasn't sure who shot in the back seat, but it came from the back seat. Hint, hint. But then, when somebody had tried to ask him something about, hey, did Suge use Tupac as like a shield or whatever? He tried to say, no, that wasn't true. He was like, well, how do you know? Because I was there. He said this. And yet and still, so now he wants to flip it. The trial has been delayed to February, 9th or 6th of 2026. He's trying to put it on somebody else. At one point, he was saying that, Diddy paid him $1 million allegedly for the hit. And then, then now, so he's trying to say now it's Reggie Wright that orchestrated it. And, we talked about it here before on this show. And so now what he's doing is he's using a conspiracy theory that's been put out there by a guy that I know named RJ Bond, who is pretty much saying that, Reggie Wright Jr., the head of security for Death Row, or for Right Way Security, who was working for Death Row that night, orchestrated this whole thing to take out Tupac. Why? Because he fired him, a couple of weeks ago, or he sent them a letter, or he was that jealous of Suge Knight that he wanted to take Suge out, so he orchestrated a hit, so he can take over Death Row Records, and it was failed because Tupac got hit. I mean, you start hearing some of these crazy haired theories, man, and it's starting to get kind of bonkers and bananas.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you there. Do I know if that man shot him? I can't come to that conclusion. I can only use the evidence of what he said.
Right.
You were there. Everybody else dead, bro. So I don't know what you thought was gonna happen. But I do blame the Las Vegas Police Department for dragging this thing along. You know what I'm saying? Because he's been living out there for a minute. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like, you know what I mean, y'all didn't know where this man was for the past 30 years. It ain't like he ran to Uruguay and was hiding out in the hills somewhere, walking donkeys and you know what I'm saying? Like he didn't disappear. He's been everywhere. He's been on all kind of, like you said, different podcasts. He's been on different shows. Like y'all could have did your job a whole lot more effectively. It shouldn't have took 30 years. That's what I'll say. It shouldn't have took damn near 30 years for you to figure this out. If this is the case, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Will they get him for murder? I don't believe they can. But will they get him for conspiracy or collusion in regards to it? That's a whole different ball game.
Right.
So, I mean, either way, they already got you, bro. You're 61 years old, and you was rocking a polo sports shirt, so I'm pretty sure you ain't got a great lawyer. And yeah, I wish you luck, my brother.
Jess, what are your thoughts?
I don't wish him no luck.
Damn.
That's what he gets for doing this for probably like third set, clicks and likes. Well, you paying for it. Whether you did it or not, you paying for it now. That's what you get.
Well, to piggyback, he didn't necessarily pull the trigger per se. He handed the gun to the back because all of this, for those that don't know, the backstory is Tupac and Suge were at the MGM Grand, attending the Mike Tyson fight. They see a cat that they have beef with back in Cali. The guy says to another guy, "Hey, there goes the dude that tried to jack my chain." Tupac, whether he wanted to show loyalty or whatever, took it upon himself to run up on this dude, knock him out, he fell, and then the rest of the crew jumped him. So, as we know out here in Cali, especially for certain things like that, retaliation is inevitable. Whether it was going to happen in Vegas, whether it's going to happen out in Cali, there was going to be some type of retribution for the actions that took place. Now, what it starts getting slippery is because KEEFE D alleged that, and it actually is starting to have a little bit more credence now too. We'll get into that. But he's alleging that, Diddy, was like, hey, he had an in-between guy, and it was like, hey, so, hey, he just stomped us out. So the in-between guy was like, hey, so are you going to take care of that? You're like, yeah, even more bet. So they rolled up to Club 662, where Suge and Tupac were supposed to go because Tupac was supposed to be performing for a charity event. And, he didn't see him there. So they hit the strip. They go get some liquor, Then, Tupac's out the window. He's screaming because girls are, yelling at him. And so they're like, okay, there you go. So they pull up on him. And then that's when, fate that took place. So, he didn't necessarily do it. From what he said, he handed the gun to the back. Now, he did say that if they would have pulled up on his side, that he would have did it. So, whether it was Orlando Anderson allegedly or Big Dre allegedly, they let off the shots, and Tupac's no longer here. So where it gets tricky is because KEEFE D admitted all this, and he's trying to say that he was paid to lie, But the first time that he admitted to this, he admitted it to police, to law enforcement, to an officer named Greg Kading. He stated, because they were trying to hem him up for the Biggie unaliving. And he tried to say, no, that wasn't us. Saying, I could tell you what we were responsible for. And he proceeded to tell the story of the Tupac stuff. But what he didn't know was that he was being taped. Greg Kading got let go of LAPD, and he took those tapes, turned around, and he made a book, and then he turned around and made a documentary. KEEFE D, right after that, actually, this is before all this became public knowledge, he went to Las Vegas PD, and he confessed to him and told him everything that happened. Now, again, I don't know why they didn't get him then. Oh, no, he said that he had a proffer agreement. No, he had some type of immunity. He said he had some type of immunity, which is why they said that they didn't get him then. But, you know, what it come to find out was that he only had a proffer agreement, which was like a Queens for a day. So what that means was that they were getting ready to charge him for drugs. But if he had lied about anything that he was giving them, then that agreement would get rescinded, and then he would therefore spend time in jail for PCP. So he had to tell the truth. And he told the truth. He signed on it. And now he's trying to backtrack and say that, no, it wasn't true.
Hey, well, double jeopardy, right? That's his best case scenario. Double jeopardy, bro. You already gave me a proffer. If that was the truth, I gave you the truth. You gave me a proffer on that.
No, it was only good for that day. So as you told me, as I was breaking this down to you, there is no statute of limitations on murder.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But
and so there was no immunity. He had Queens for a day. So the deal got broke the minute that he wrote a book. And the minute that he started getting on all these platforms and this is what happened and giving detail, he got interviewed first by Vlad TV about the book. And, you know, and he started saying, well, you got to read the book. You got to read the book. So monkey see, monkey do. He thought he was untouchable. He thought, hey, they can't get me. But it was literally just a Queens for a day. But again, that was in Los Angeles. It wasn't in Las Vegas. He had no immunity. He had no proffer agreement in Vegas. And when he... So...
I don't know, man. Hey, good luck to that brother. He's out of here, coach. I was trying to find some silver lining for him. You know what I mean? Just to be non-biased.
I'm trying not to be emotional, but funk him, man. Like, first off, he's the world's dumbest criminal, right? Again, like, so what we're talking about, and I guess the underlying theme of this is that, you know, again, platforms, cameras, microphones, sometimes they're not necessarily your best friend. You know what I'm saying? He tasted a little bit of the thing. He got a little punch drunk. And, you know what I'm saying, he started feeling himself. He thought he was untouchable till he got touched. Now he's over here claiming that he's innocent, that he was set up. And he was saying that it was Diddy. He named Diddy all like 77 like times throughout his little thing. Now he's trying to backtrack, saying, no, it was Reggie Wright. And again, I guess because it's so personal to me is because I know RJ. And again, even with his theory, I didn't necessarily agree with this. And I tried to tell him, like, hey, I don't know about this because it's outlandish. Because at one point, they were trying to allege that Lil Half Dead from DPG was mad at Tupac because Tupac stole Bring This Guy to Baby and Dear Mama from him. So he wanted some get back and he embarrassed him. So they tried to say that Lil Half Dead was the one that pulled the trigger and killed Pac. Then it was somebody else to try to put, and it didn't make sense, especially when I seen the lyrics to Bring This Guy to Baby. So how did Tupac steal that when he wrote it himself? And so I tried to tell him, like, it didn't make sense. This whole confession letter from a schizophrenic, an alleged schizophrenic, it didn't make sense. And so, I don't know, man. People, again, fame, this is Tupac. So, of course, Tupac is a hot ticket. So I guess you can put out anything. You can go on these shows, Who Killed Tupac, make all these documentaries, all these shows, all these specials, and it's still just one big old revolving circus. So I will give Las Vegas their props on this. They swung. They're saying that they have enough to make a conviction and that he's going to jail, which, again, I think enough meaning that he's self-confessed. You can't go back and backtrack, so, I lied.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. For them to pick him up 30 years later, you're definitely going to jail, bro. Like, you can let that go. Now, will he get a murder conviction? I don't think they'll.
No, I don't think so. Because, again, he didn't pull the trigger, but he was in concert. Hey, Ashanti. He was in concert. You know what I'm saying? He alleged handed the gun, so he played a role, and that's where they're going to get him. Mm-hmm. But again, it was more so on his own merit that he admitted to all this. Now, had he would have just shut up and not said anything, we would have never known this. You know what I'm saying? The minute that he wrote a book, the minute that he got on these platforms, is when he shot himself in the foot. You know what I'm saying? And I will give this to Vegas, well played, for just sitting back and letting it. They started playing chess with this dude. You know, say, okay, go ahead and talk. Go ahead and talk. Thinking that he's cool. The more he talked, I don't know what made him get up on that high horse and go get him right then and there, but they sure did.
Hey, he did it
but
to himself,
shame on you for waiting 30 years, though. Shame on you.
Absolutely. Y'all could have been picked that man up if that was the case. But I don't know. We got to wait till next year to see the evidence, man, and see what they're talking about. Because I'm curious on what they're going to charge him with. Because I don't think murder is going to stick. So, you know, prosecutors, they have to charge specifically to get the type of convictions they want. So I'm curious to see what the charge will be. I don't think they're going to get murder, though.
Right.
To be honest. It's not enough evidence for that.
Yeah.
It's a lot of he say, she say.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't got no weapons. You ain't got nothing.
Well, here's the thing. We don't know what they don't know what they got.
Oh,
now he's trying to say that he wasn't in Vegas, right? So, but he'd already gave the name of the hotel he was. He said he was at the Monte Carlo. This is him. He's saying this.
Right.
And so, you know, he was at the Monte Carlo. He did this. He did that. So he said, prove that you got to prove that I was in Vegas. So what if they have receipts?
Could very well be true. I'm curious.
Because, again, this is an investigation, like you said. I'm playing advocate a bit, that's been going on for 30-some years. So who knows what they picked up back then as opposed to now. You know what I'm saying? So.
And there were cameras back then, so.
Very few, but not like how they have now. There's cameras like everywhere.
Well, I'm pretty sure the casino, I mean, that's how we got the initial video of Tupac in the lobby. So I'm pretty sure there's a camera at where you say he was at?
Monte Carlo.
Monte Carlo, yeah. I'm pretty sure there was a camera in there for security purposes.
I wonder if they got receipts. I want to know what. That's why I'm a little mad that we're waiting to 2026. You know what I'm saying? So,
well, what can you do? They got to make sure it's airtight, man. You know what I mean?
No, it's airtight for the prosecution. They're ready to go. So it's more so KEEFE D's lawyer saying that, hey, there's new witnesses are coming forth. They're trying to pin it on Reggie Wright Jr. and trying to say he was the real orchestrator. So, and again, and I'm gonna give this one for the prosecution. So if Reggie Wright Jr. was the real conspirator behind the death of Tupac Shakur, then how would KEEFE D know?
That is a damn good question.
Right?
Damn good question.
How would he know? You know, did you participate? Did he tell you this? Were you working in cahoots? Is this the new allegations? Like, so now how do you know? You know, so
well, I mean,
I don't know.
You can't really listen to somebody who is willing to tell to get themselves out of a jam. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to snitching, I know people like, oh, don't say whatever. Snitching applies to certain criteria, right? If you were involved in something with some other individuals and y'all get caught and then you tell on them, that's snitching. If you're a civilian, you tell. You're supposed to tell. You're an innocent civilian. You're supposed to tell. But when you come out with something like, I'm a Compton menace and, you know what I'm saying, I'm the biggest gangster ever type energy, but we got written statements on you, bro, we can't really take you serious with nothing you talking about, to be honest. Just be truthful.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm. Give me a second. I'll be right back, though. Hold on.
So, yeah. So what are your thoughts, Jess?
Told you my thoughts.
I mean, further elaborate, please.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, he just needs to stay in jail. He needs to serve his time. That's how I feel.
Right. So you do know, too, that because they're delaying this trial, that he will sit in jail for another year, another full year.
Good.
So.
And they're going to pack on whatever years to that. Well, technically, they kind of subtract the years. But anyways, Yeah, you need to do 25 to life, homie. That's why I failed.
And you're saying this because you're a Tupac fan, huh?
No, I'm not biased. Not biased at all. I would feel that way even if it was, I don't know, anybody. Why are you gonna lie in the first place?
Why you always lying? Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy, you know what I'm saying? And I know I talked to you about this before, but you know, I kind of, I don't agree with RJ on this one. And because of this theory that's being put out there, it sounds like this is what the prosecution, or not probably, what the defense is basing it off of. Is, you know, they're basing it off of his documentary and all this other stuff. And I just think that, hey, man, you know, for a true Tupac fan, you know what I'm saying, like for especially for his family. Matter of fact, I got to send out a quick disclaimer, you know, so a few weeks ago, I had my cousin on the flyer, you know, with Tupac and KEEFE D, and you know, she caught some flack behind my actions, so I had to apologize. It wasn't that I was trying to be disrespectful; it was advertising for the show as far as the topics, what we're going to talk about. But I'm gonna tell you like this: those people in the Bay, they don't play about Tupac at all, and you know, what I'm saying, and she's real close to his family too, but. For the fact that he spent his time in the Bay, whether it was in Marin City in Oakland, they don't play about Tupac. And you know, there's some people that feel a way about him, but Tupac is more loved than hated, especially in the Bay. We love him out here in Southern California, in LA, and all this other stuff, but in the Bay, they don't play about that dude. So I gotta apologize to my people in Oakland, you know what I'm saying? It was no disrespect at all. You know what I'm saying? It's me as a fan not liking the situation that's happening. I want to see justice for this man, because not only was he, you know, my favorite artist of all time as far as rapping, you know, I think that he was a prolific human being. You know, he had a lot to offer had he would have lived to see his full potential. And I think he was robbed over something that could have been handled over a fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, It just goes into the thing of what we're talking about, like some of the ills that plague our community. And I don't want to necessarily dwell too much on the bad, but I want to find some solutions. You know, say how can we extract some of the hate amongst ourselves so we can prosper fully within our community. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and a lot of people don't really take into account or consider the fact that Tupac was only 25.
25.
That's crazy.
Right. I mean, but
just think about it in your own life. What was you doing at 25?
Still trying to find myself.
Exactly.
Especially as a hip hop artist. You know, so I was just coming into my own. Like, you know, when you knew me, I don't think you knew, but I was over here performing and I became a professional at 16. So I was doing like clubs and TV and all this other stuff. Matter of fact, the company that I was with was in talks with Suge because there was a rapper from the clique that they wanted to get. So my very first show was actually out in Hollywood at the Key Club, you know, opening up for Too Short. You know, I was a hype man. And Suge was looking to sign the guy that I was hyping for. So, you know, they spent plenty of time. As a matter of fact, there was a Vegas trip that they took where they went to Suge's house out in Vegas. I didn't get a chance to go to that one. My mom wouldn't let me go. But she said, nah, you know what I'm saying? You ain't going to that one. No. You got to slow your roll a little bit.
Stop Diddy's house?
Fuck no.
For me at 25.
What's up, though, Adoration? How you feeling, sis?
Hey.
Over there.
Saturday
where you at today? You know what I'm saying? You're over there.
I'm in Taiwan.
Oh, okay.
I might be.
All right. What were you going to say, Jess?
No, I was going to say for me at 25, I was having my second child.
These
That's just crazy.
Grown.
Yeah, that's just crazy, you know, to put that in perspective.
Right.
Yeah, because most of us were still trying to figure out what the hell we was going to do with our lives.
My 25 wasn't long ago, but I was confused.
Yeah.
That's all of us.
That's what I'm saying. So for that man to leave that type of impact on the world because of his gift, it is outright amazing. Imagine if he'd have made it to 35, 45.
I thought about that too.
65. You know what I'm saying?
They say that he.
Celebration.
I mean, you know, he was already politically savvy because of his heritage. You know, because of his mom. You know, right. That's another thing they need to do a documentary on or a biopic is his mom. You know, saying like she was part of the Black Panther Party 21 in New York. And she self-defended herself and got her and her comrades off on some stuff that the government was trying to tack on them. You know what I'm saying? Like his godmom is Assata Shakur, who is a political prisoner, you know what I'm saying? And she's out there, you know, under protection from the Castro administration in Cuba because they have her as a fugitive still to this day. You know, his step-pops is Mutulu Shakur, you know what I'm saying? R.I.P. to him, who, you know, who helped eradicate her from bondage, you know what I'm saying? And they tried to pin some charges on him. You know, his godfather was Geronimo Pratt, another member of the Black Panther Party who was framed for murder and all this other stuff. So, I mean, he was vexed in this since birth. You know, his embryo was vexed in this since birth. And on top of that, with him being intelligent, and then of course, you know, he got the other side. He was born in New York, lived in Baltimore. Shout out to Adoration in her Baltimore. And then, you know, he got his game and he got raised in the Bay. You know what I'm saying? And so all this stuff made him who he was. And, you know, he has songs like Dear Mama, Keep Your Head Up, you know what I'm saying? Never Be Peace, White Man's World, you know, stuff where he was talking to his community, giving us hope, giving us things, you know what I'm saying? Like speaking to us like how Malcolm used to speak to us. Yeah. And his voice was extinguished, you know, due to hate.
Yep. Yeah. That's the truth. If we're going to talk about it, then we know he had to go.
Speaking of hate, that shit in Texas, man. And that joint in Texas, man. They killed that little girl. Man, the rapper, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know who he is.
I never had a clue. Never had a clue. Hold on, I'm about to pull it up right now.
Okay, you got a clip? I didn't know if you had a clip or not. You know what I'm saying? But
well, I definitely got it. So
okay, my fault. I just took the whole conversation.
No. You get it. It's a good segue. Good segue. So while I get this situated, let's go ahead and let's get into some promo real quick. You know what I'm saying?
Let's do it.
And we are back. So I'm not sure who GS Lil Ronnie is, you know what I'm saying? But shout out to him. It's definitely sad what happened. But here goes a little clip.
A manhunt is underway for two capital murder suspects who killed a father and daughter in Forest Hill. Good evening, I'm Steve Eager. Police say 24-year-old Adonis Robinson and 21-year-old Jacoby Russell are responsible for shooting and killing a local rapper, Ronnie Sibley, and his 5-year-old daughter Monday at a car wash. Dion England has the latest from police. Dion.
Hey there, Steve. The police chief here in Forest Hill says the search is on for the two men responsible for this double murder. The chief also called them cowards. Two capital murder suspects are now identified and subjects of a manhunt.
They're scared. They're cowards. They're hiding.
They are 24-year-old Adonis Robinson and 21-year-old Jacoby Russell, both of Fort Worth. Investigators say the two are the gunmen captured by surveillance cameras at a car wash Monday during the ambush and double murder of music rap artist Ronnie Sibley and his 5-year-old daughter, Armani.
We have public enemy number one, Adonis Robinson, who is also a registered sex offender. Enemy number two, Jacoby Russell, who's on the run.
Public records show Robinson was arrested in 2019 and later convicted for the violent assault of a woman who was walking along a trail near Marine Creek Reservoir. Forest Hill police will not speculate on a motive in the double murders, nor will they say if or how the suspects and victims are connected, pointing out the Texas Rangers are the lead agency in the investigation.
Based on the music industry that he's a part of, it is all part of the investigation. And like I said earlier, we're on a fact-finding base. Everything that's being put out is being reviewed and analyzed by the Texas Rangers.
We know from surveillance images obtained by TMZ that Sibley was chased on foot through the car wash parking lot before he was shot. Police say it's unclear if Robinson and Russell could be hiding out in the Metroplex. However, they are the subject of a nationwide be on the lookout alert.
They are dangerous, they are armed, and we need you to please call 911 and let our police officers respond and take appropriate action.
Now, we asked the police chief if there was a vehicle description to go along with this search. The chief let us know that the vehicle used during the double murder is already recovered. He would not say where that vehicle was found.
How you gonna kill a child? Like, I thought we had, not we, but I thought there were standards.
There is.
Like, don't kill kids.
Yeah, there definitely is.
Like, what?
Which is crazy. I mean, y'all intentionally killed that little girl. If y'all had to chase her daddy down, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what I gathered from that. Yeah, I never watched the clip. I just heard about it. I don't like watching stuff like that, man. You know
I understand.
I try to not feed into giving no notoriety, none of that, as much as possible outside of the show, because I like to get my honest reactions too. But I think police chief was absolutely correct. We're looking at two cowards and a sex offender nonetheless. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So the streets the streets don't respect none of that. I'm gonna just be honest with you. It's just two dusty dudes who kick it together.
Exactly.
You can't be on the sex offender list and be my friend. I'm just be honest with you.
Absolutely not.
You can't kick it at my house, bro.
No.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just being honest. You know what I'm saying? I need to see some paperwork. What was the circumstances? Anything, something.
So let's dissect it a minute. You know what I'm saying? Like, why? Yeah, as somebody who's lost somebody to murder, you know what I'm saying? I lost a few people to murder. You know what I'm saying? How and why does it get to that point? Do you think that it is a thing of self-hate?
I wouldn't necessarily say it's self-hate. What I will say is desperate, dusty niggas do stupid shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
This is the truth.
Whether they was, because I'm assuming a big assumption here though, that they was on some kind of drug. You know what I'm saying? Nobody in their right mind goes to the car wash and starts the shootout. That's in their right mind. I don't care who you saw. You know what I'm saying? And if you really felt that way, you wouldn't have ran.
Right.
Just being honest, like, I just, yeah, I think it's just a lack of morals from certain individuals that don't represent the collective.
Exactly.
So,
I think, yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I mean, I agree with Quez in a way. Like, I think it's just behavior. Like, I've seen people be like, "Oh, we got beef." I'm like, "You're grown. What are you talking about?" I'm like, "Listen, you don't understand. I'm the kind of person." And then once you get that energy, then that person gets that energy back, and then it's just like bad behavior on top of bad behavior, and then the baby gets killed. Like, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I say I don't think it's self-hate is because you do see this in every community. We're not going to be like, "Oh, black people." No.
Thank you.
White people more
Very
so.
true. Very
White
true.
people more so. They just be shooting people just left, right, and center with no.
Thank you.
Very true. But before we head into that cesspool, because I get it. But you know, saying that the thing where we're talking about now, and I know maybe a lot of times seeing that we're unapologetically black to a certain degree. I mean, yes, we are. But you know, this is stuff that this is stuff that plagues our community, the community that we belong to. So these are answers that, you know, again, you know, it's one of those things where I know it happens. I don't necessarily want to sit up there and play like it doesn't, because we know that it does.
Absolutely.
But, you know, so the thing is the one thing I like with Quez, that what Quez said in the beginning of the year, we start looking and searching for solutions.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of, you know, saying, "Hey, they ain't one of us, they ain't one of us," how do we extract this cancer that is that's going to afflict the body, which we know as the Black Voice Collective, and it stains us to a certain extent and makes us look bad? How do we get rid of some of these people like that? How do we rid our community of haters, of people who lack self-maturity, that lack a conscience, you know, saying, to sit up there and to take the life of a 5-year-old girl? And again, even if you didn't like this dude, what's wrong with going up with a good old fade? You know what I'm saying? Even still, I think that's wrong. You know, wait till you go takes his daughter home, then, you know, you run the fade. But you that much of a coward to shoot this dude with his little girl. And the sad part about it was that he was trying to run away from the car to divert attention from the car. So, you know, so they can just get him, but they still wind up spraying up the car.
It's just disgusting. Sick.
I mean, I'm gonna say what I always say, man. We need solutions. But to Adoration's point, let's also not make it seem like it's a holistic thing that we have to fix, because there's several factors that go into it, right? And we're the only community that's judged by the worst of us. You know what I'm saying? We're the only community that has to, you know what I'm saying? Nobody ever goes and says, "Hey, Mexicans, what are you guys doing about the cartel in your community?" Right? When are you going to fix that? Or Italians, when are you going to fix the mob in your community? You know, so not the scapegoat. I'm just saying, you know, I just don't like that comparison that we have to fix it, because my first solution would be provide opportunity. It's really that simple. If you provide an environment where people can thrive, not saying that, you know, they need to be flat out wealthy, but if you provide an environment where people can feed their kids, you know what I'm saying, and not have to worry about if their light's gonna get cut off, or not worry about, you know what I'm saying, you know, putting food in their house, and having real jobs that create some type of consistency and comfort level, then a lot of these problems disappear. But when you economically deprive a community and put them in a project, they become the project, because now we're just watching to see how they react.
That's true, though, because it could have been a hit that they were ordered to do. That could be a thing too.
Well, it becomes Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead. Sir, you haven't talked. You go first. I'm gonna go ahead.
No, so I talk too damn much. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, it's like I believe it becomes a thing of self-hate because again, it's jealousy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you see this guy right here, and it's one of the things that took out Nip. Nip was in his own community, in his own hood, trying to get back, trying to do something positive, and was taken out in front of the store that he was trying to give back to the community because of somebody, whether it be street politics, whatever. But this hate, this level of hate, jealousy, envy, whatever you want to call it, perpetuated this person to sit up there and to take this person out. Same thing with this guy here. Like I said, I don't know him from a hole in the wall. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it's sad because, at the end, he's a father. You know what I'm saying? The little girl was robbed of her life. You know what I'm saying? All because of what? Because he said something in a lyric that you may not like, or because he's rocking chains, or he got cars, or he's getting some notoriety, whatever the case may be. You look at him like, oh, I can't stand this cat. Whatever. You want to try to take him out. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just me, seeing Quez, doing well within his travel business, him and his queen. And I'm sitting up there, instead of congratulating and celebrating with him, I'm over here looking at him like, man, that's supposed to be me. Or trying to do shit to self-sabotage, a show. You know what I'm saying? Or to self-sabotage him. Or self-sabotage Jess's business, all because I feel like I can't elevate to a certain status.
Talk about it, though.
Well, I think realistically it comes from the mindset of throughout our history, there was only room for one at the top.
Ooh.
Right. So it creates that dichotomy. You know what I mean? It's not, I don't think it's us creating it. I think it's a learned behavior because society shows us that it can only be one of you at a time. We may be fully integrated, but only one of you niggas can come up here and win. It can't be all of you. You know what I mean? And it breeds resentment for people who are impoverished, right? If you watch that one cat get to the top, and for a lot of reasons, which may be true, there are better people out there that may be better rappers. There are more skilled basketball players. There are better football players. Whatever the case may be, you can feel that way and think that, oh, okay, I was slighted, but your emotional intelligence has to tell you that it's not okay to participate in the debauchery against said individual because they got their time to shine as well. So I do think it's a learned behavior, and that's why I said some of those opportunities need to be brought back to the community because poverty creates violence. I mean, it's just, to be honest, it's that simple. And white people do it, Mexican people do it, black people do it. Wherever you find an impoverished community, there's usually a lot of violence. Just honestly speaking. Sometimes it's whole countries.
Right.
Sometimes it's whole cities. You know what I mean?
Cheryl says, yes, Quest, in this society, blacks were bred with the crabs in the barrel mentality. All right, I'm sorry. Before I cut you off, Adoration, I'm sorry. Go ahead and speak your thoughts, views, and opinions.
I was going to say that I do feel like, and this is something that even I can say, right? My family, not from the hood, black. When I was younger, we were poor, and then we were millionaires, and then we flew out living overseas, family of God. But still, for some reason, we all, like when we're mad at somebody or we're like, listen, I stand on, like we all talk like this as if we were some gangsters from some hood somewhere down south talking about, listen, I would, my dad used to be like that. And I remember one day he said later in his life, he's like, I never done anything to anybody. I'm talking like I would shoot somebody. I would just, and you could never do this to me. And I'm not the type, and I'm not the one or the two. And in reality, my whole family is the one of the two. I mean, I don't fight. Let's just be honest though. I mean, my dad was a little gangster if you needed him to be. And I saw him in action one day when some white guy tried to attack him from the back. He just like snatched the white guy up, and we were in the middle of Cambodia somewhere. I was like, whoa. But the truth is, I ain't never hurt nobody. I ain't never been in no fight. And I think that we have to change that language. Like, we're just gonna talk specifically about the Black community. I'm not talking about white people. They respectful. They just do crazy stuff. But I'm talking about Black people. If we're gonna change that, I think we have to stop talking as if we're somebody. It might be rap music influence or cultural influence, or like everybody's supposed to be this big bad fighter who be in the streets, who you don't want to cross, and you talk like that. But a lot of us are not. I mean, I don't know. At least for myself, I'm not.
So you mean glorified? It's glorified.
We glorify this idea that. You know what I mean? I'd be like, listen, y'all don't understand. I'm American. I'm Black. I'm different. I'm not different. And we talk like that a lot, and we glorify that. To be honest. So
I'm gonna have to slightly disagree with you. You are different. But go ahead, Jess.
She's well-rounded. It's okay.
I am. Right. But I never fought anybody. I'm just being honest. I've never fought anybody.
I've never fought nobody either.
Boy, shut up. My
family.
Go ahead, Jess.
Even if it's just your siblings, you still fought somebody. But no, you fought more than just your siblings. But anyway.
Okay, I'm on that.
Actual facts.
I wasn't there to see it, but yeah, but anyways, I agree. I've seen in the comments it's about maturity, and like what I said, if you don't have that emotional maturity, like you're not gonna succeed in anything at all. How can you move forward from a mindset? How can you like it says there's opportunities out there, you got to be willing to take it, but if your emotional maturity is not there, you're not going to be able to like wrap your brain around it.
True.
Your emotional maturity stunts you in everything that you do.
Absolutely. And we hear that term also, Miss Sherelle, about us. We have a crabs in the barrel mentality, but nobody ever asked who put the crabs in the barrel, because that's not their natural habitat.
And I don't think
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, and I don't think it's self-hate at all, because like you guys mentioned, all communities have people who are killing people. Like who goes to shoot up a school? That has nothing to do with self-hate. Shooting up a school.
In a way, I mean, it's a mental. How do I say it? It's definitely a mental illness. Do
you think it's a mental illness?
Yes. Hold on one sec. Erica Berry says, this is why it's so important for us as a community to seek out help, especially mental health, and not make it taboo.
I agree.
I mean, because some of it is trauma, some of it is learned behavior. I hear what you're saying about the narrative of changing the way we think, and I'm the biggest, I'm the baddest, or it's glorified. But to play advocate, I mean, you have movies like Arnold Schwarzenegger, blowing up stuff, killing folks, Godfather, white people having in their things too. Ooh. So when we as the rap community give you certain songs, or we talk about certain things, it's because it's something that we've either seen. We're living now in an era where we have rappers who are essentially telling on themselves, because it is kind of glorified now, where it's like, I'm slanging weight, I just shot this person, I just did this, and so they're giving like a rundown, and then local law enforcement is over here. Ooh, okay, cool. Got it. You know what I'm saying? So it becomes a thing to where now it seems like it's self-hate to a certain extent, because now it's like, I have to be the realest NIGGA, or I got to be the baddest B. I got to do this. I got to live up to these negative stereotypes, and they got to perpetuate them. And some folks do just that, and they act ignorant. Now, the one thing that I will say that I am with Quez, I don't like it to be subjected to just black people because it's not just black people who act ignorant. You know what I'm saying? We have ignorant folks in the white community, within the Mexican community, within the Asian community. And, but right now, what I'm talking about is us. How could we make ourselves shine and get rid of this negative, the small negative, so we can just shine? Because, again, this little girl, saying, like, where's the accountability for that? You know what I'm saying? We need this little girl for the countless little kids, the little kids who don't get to grow behind a straight bullet. You know what I'm saying? Behind some type of jealousy, but whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? What is going on? The fact that even when you step outside of our community, you have these kids who are shooting up schools because they're getting picked on, they're getting bullied, or whatever it is. It is some type of mental illness or mental health thing to where it's triggering these people to react. Now, I'm not a professional. It's just my thoughts, views, and opinions.
No, agree.
Well, a lot of it, you have to subjectively look at it also that a lot of it's a defense mechanism. When you live in a dog-eat-dog community, even if you're not the one in the two, like Adoration said, you have to put up that persona because you're likely to become a victim.
Very true.
You know what I'm saying? So living in again impoverished community, it's going to always, to me, revolve right back to impoverished communities. Because when you go to the suburbs, when you get into affluential neighborhoods, you don't see the same activities. They may be more verbally violent. They may be more socially violent in terms of clicking up and ostracizing people. But they have enough resources to where they don't have to fight and kill over them. You know what I'm saying? They just make it socially awkward for you.
Quez, real quick though. I'm sorry to cut you off. They might not be more televised for their violence, or they might talk with friends, but they just straight be killing each other. Like when I tell you, if you look into the statistics of a white community, I'm sorry.
No, I agree with you. I'm saying on a large level. You know what I'm saying? When you get to different type of environments, results change, and it's hard to argue. Do they have their enclave of those individuals? A lot of them are impoverished too. The only thing that they don't have is black skin, right? If you go to certain trailer parks and you go to certain, like, there's a lot of violence there too. There's a lot of drug use. There's a lot of, you know what I'm saying?
Actually, a quick stat, the piggyback, for a quick stat and the fact, the highest form of crime is actually white on white crime, and the highest crime committed is white men against white women.
Absolutely.
It was a stat. I don't know if it's from last year or the year before, but it was definitely a stat at one point.
We have to remember, as the black community, and Quez knows this. Actually, we all know this. We are like he said. We are. What did he say? What did you say earlier? That was so good. We are known by our worst.
Yeah,
guys. White people. I'm gonna be really, really honest. I know a girl who said they stopped having Christmas with the family and they just have the cousins' Christmas because an argument broke out over football and guns were drawn. This is like their normal. Guns were drawn right in the middle of Christmas, right in front of the Christmas tree. So, our crazy that it's on TV and we're known for it is their like normal Sunday. Like, Shannon shot up the house and now the kids are, this is there, and that's why, even though I'm not disagreeing with that it's a mental illness, but the fact that, like, you notice that black kids are just as bullied, Mexican kids are probably more bullied. How many guns have they grabbed them with to school? It's mental illness plus bad behavior because they're raised to know they can get away with certain stuff. If this was just because of the bullying, if it was just that, I'm not blaming children now. Please don't have me for this. If it was just because of the bullying of the mental illness, you would see a lot more kids picking up guns. It is because they're used to getting away with it. I.e., the young ladies, both of them actually, who just killed their black boyfriends, one shot and one stabbed to death. They can get away with it. She didn't get arrested till 2 weeks later because the public was pressuring. Like, this girl just killed her man. Oh, she said she was cleaning her gun. Why does she have a gun at 3 o'clock in the morning somewhere where she can shoot somebody? It's a different reality. So I'm gonna state that because that's just the truth.
But solution based, man. What do I always say? It starts at home.
Absolutely.
It always starts at home.
Absolutely.
Before your children and your young adults and your grown men go out into the atmosphere or the surrounding area, it is your job to prepare them. It's your job to educate them on what are the possibilities out there. So you have to start at your house, right? And for the individuals like me who may not live with some of their children, you still got to communicate.
Yes.
You still have to, hey, you doing all right? What's going on? Everything good with you? What you struggling with? You know what I'm saying? It's okay to talk to me because I want to know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? These are real conversations that need to be had. But I think parents have gotten bullied into soft parenting, which doesn't work for shit.
There you go.
Just being honest.
It's called gentle parenting.
Oh,
was your parents gentle with you, Jess?
Nope.
And you came out amazing. So why wouldn't you give your kids that same amazing treatment? You're gonna try something different that you don't know if it's gonna work or not, based off your experience.
No, Timmy, put that down. Go breathe. 1, 2, 3. What the heck is bothering me? No, Timmy, you don't have to eat your peas tonight. No.
Listen.
Sorry.
In our communities, we learned real quick that actions came with consequences. We learned that very early. A lot of these children now don't have consequences.
I agree, Erica.
Yeah. No, you need.
Hold on. I agree with you too, Quest, because you was preaching real quick, but Erica said something too. I think there's a difference between gentle parenting and permissive parenting, and I think a lot of people confuse the two.
I agree with that.
I'm not advocating for you to beat your kids.
No. I know it's not what you're saying. Here's the thing. But I'm saying, all right, you know what I mean? This is just third. It's not Edward. It's not third degree. This third. You know what I'm saying? Third saying is right here. Some of these kids need their damn ass beat. You know what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely.
I think some parents are way too nice, or they're just too. They lack accountability. They don't show or parent their kids to a certain accountability to where they have this false sense of entitlement. Like, hey, this is mine. It's supposed to be given to me. I don't have to work. I don't have to do this. So what Quez is saying is absolutely true. It definitely starts at home. What are you what are you feeding your children? What are you raising them? What are you basing them in? Is it morals? Is it standards? Some of these kids, they have no reverence for adults. You know what I'm saying? To where it's like now, back in the day for us, if we were talking like street talk or cursing, whatever, we seen that elderly woman, we had to hush up, because we know that if that was our grandma would sit up there and would knock us out or spank us with a ruler or a flag swatter or a belt, if we were caught cursing in front of them. You know what I'm saying? Now it's a lack of respect to where these kids don't even fear adults, to where they can sit there, forget you, mom. No. And so it becomes this thing to where it's just like they act out. I done seen some stuff, yo. I didn't see it. I sit back and watch the show in these stores, and these kids are all crawling around on the floor, rolling. No. I mean, all my mom had to do was give me a look.
But can we be honest, though? That's why it pisses me off slightly when Black people are always glorifying white people like we have such a huge problem. I'm like, as horrible as our community is and terrible as our kids are raised, we hold the standard of obedience and decency and discipline. across the board.
Hey man, damn all that. If we were that, look, damn all that. If we were that horrible, why have we been raising y'all children? Where do these mammy terms come from? Where do these housekeepers and these nannies and these live-in babysitters? That started in the Black community. So if we were so horrible at parenting, we were so horrible that you let your children suck on the other titty.
That part too.
Of the Black horrible mother.
Well, hey now.
I'm just being honest. Like these are historical facts.
Monetization is out the window.
I mean, it's been gone, third.
Why? Just stop.
God damn.
You put Trump on the screen. We got monetized with the flyer. You know what I'm saying? But no, I'm just being serious though. Like it's crazy to me how the standards switch when there's no longer any use for us.
I hear you. Hold on one sec. Erica says, and just because people came out okay, so to speak, doesn't mean that they still don't harbor a lot of traumas from childhood. Getting their ass beat. So again, let me rephrase that. There's a difference between getting your ass beat and then discipline, or no, child abuse and discipline. You know what I'm saying? Like what I'm speaking on more so is discipline. And a lot of these kids lack discipline because they have no reverence for adults. They feel that their parents are their friends. They feel like and I've seen it firsthand within some of my own. Where it's like they don't feel like, well, why do I have to respect this adult just because you're an adult? Why? You know what I'm saying? Like it's the arrogance, it's the entitlement, it's the ignorance. And I think that some parents let their kids get away with too much. And again, so there's rearing. It's called a thing of rearing. And even in the Bible, it says, what? Spare the rod, spoil the child, whatever. I misquoted a little bit, but there's a thing where you have to discipline. So definitely child abuse is definitely different. And I don't advocate for that. You know what I'm saying? Anybody that commits child abuse should be locked up beneath the jail, and they need their ass beat and castrated. You know what I'm saying? But there's a thing between discipline and child abuse. What'd you say?
Now we demonetized because we castrating people. That's what I said. Shit.
There's no castrating. I mean, you said TITTY. Sucking on the suck.
Come on, y'all.
I mean, just like that's what he's saying. I ain't say the full thing.
But listen, for real. Let's just be honest here. We didn't get whoopings every day. Like when they talk about Black families and our children,
unless you were bad,
they act like we got hit every day.
But guys, then
we can all remember one good whooping, and it changed our lives. I'm just being real. Like you might not remember every whooping. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure most of them were deserved. You know what I mean? Knowing the type of individual I am, I'm still that way now. You know what I'm saying? I just survived the encounter, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? I didn't do it in front of her. You know what
Erica asks, "What is child abuse?"
I can answer that right now.
Thank you.
There's a documentary called "Devil in the Family." White, blonde. She had her kids stand out in the hot sun, then mixed burning things in their wounds. Didn't feed those kids. Had her kids thrown out all over the neighborhood. That's child abuse. And they got 4 to 30 years. Her and her girlfriend. She told the dad to leave the house and never call back. The man left, didn't even check on his kids. In fact, he blocked his kids when they tried to reach out to him. So that's
spanking a child with a belt on his rear. As long as it's not too hard, it's not child abuse. Now, when you're sitting up there and you're welding, you know what I'm saying, like Mark's in, you're using certain things. I mean, you're knocking them out there, you're knocking out their teeth. You know what I'm saying? There's certain things where it's child abuse. You're stabbing them, you're burning them with cigarette butts, cigarette lighters.
leaving any type of mark is
Yeah,
child
you
abuse.
should. Yeah, I don't believe you should be hitting your children hard enough to leave no marks. That's beyond discipline. Now when they get about 14, 15, you can punch them in the chest. It ain't gonna leave no bruises. It's gonna knock the wind out of them.
Don't square around. I'll say though, when it gets to that,
that's when they get a little too gangster.
Child abuse is excessive. Hold on.
There's different forms of child abuse.
There's
and
definitely
that's
different.
difficult.
It's really kind of hard to define it into one.
Mental, there's verbal, there's a lot of abuse that you can do.
Exactly. But yeah, there's different forms. Like the lady, she also had her son. He went and he didn't want to participate and be in the camera for the YouTube video, so she had him leave his bedroom and sleep in the cold basement on a beanbag for 7 months.
Damn.
That's child abuse. I think that's against the law. Like there's certain criteria that you have to have
that is
kids,
child abuse.
and that wasn't it. That's child abuse.
Absolutely, though, Erica.
That's child abuse. And I said blonde, and the reason why I say that is because she barely got in trouble compared to what she did. She barely.
Definitions of child abuse and neglect, California. A child may be considered dependent under the following. The child has suffered or there's substantial risk that the child will suffer serious physical harm inflicted non-accidentally upon the child on the child by the child's parent or guardian. For the purposes of the subdivision, the court may find that there is substantial risk of serious future injury based on the way a less serious injury was inflicted, a history of repeated inflictions of injuries on the child or the child's siblings, or a combination of these and other actions by the parent or guardian that indicate the child is at risk of serious physical harm. I mean, for the purposes of severe physical abuse means in the following: a single act of abuse that causes physical trauma or sufficient severity that, if left untreated, would cause permanent physical disfigurement, permanent physical disability, or death. Any child act of sexual abuse that causes significant bleeding, deep bruising, or significant internal swelling. More than one act of physical abuse, each of which causes bleeding, deep bruising, significant internal swelling, bone fracture, or unconsciousness. The willful, prolonged failure to provide adequate food. So, I mean, if you're looking for child abuse, it's all right here. If you want the definitions, again, discipline, a little spank, whatever, I think it's rendered at times, depending on what it is. But if you're when it's excessive to where you're leaving bruises or marks, or you're causing them to go to the hospital or death, then I think that is what is being defined as child abuse.
Child abuse.
Okay.
Agreed. Absolutely.
So I could put some more things in there, but the fact that you got to say this stuff is crazy.
Yeah. Word to Big Bird. Word to Big Bird. But all right, y'all, we're gonna segue a little bit into the last little bit of the show. Jazz has to go, So,
all right, Jazz, handle your scandal. We appreciate you spending some time with us.
We will do some advertisement, and we will be right back. Yeah.
You're wasting time, wasting lines.
Hello, family. I'm Marquez.
Hey, you guys, and I'm Denisha.
We all want the best for our children, right? Security, opportunities, and a future filled with endless possibilities.
That's right, but here's the question. What are you doing today to create that future? Imagine building a business that creates generational wealth, leaving a legacy that grows even when you're not working, showing your children what it means to dream big and take action.
That's right. With Planet Marketing, we offer you the opportunity to earn income while still being present with and for your family. We show you how to invest in their future while securing your own, and teach them by example what financial freedom should look like.
And don't just tell your kids to dream big, show them how it's done.
That's right. Comment below, or
you could just message us for a direct link to our presentation.
All right, y'all, we are back. Just a quick little promo. If you have something that you want advertised on Drop Your 3 Cent, go to dropyour3cent@gmail.com. Let's talk it out. We can get something going on for you. You can advertise your business. If you got something you want to promote, whether it be a book, whether it be an album, whether it be a poem, a show, whatever, let us know. And then also too, there's going to be a new portion or a new, a new entity where we actually put people, especially entrepreneurs, especially people who are doing things in the community, in the hot seat, and we interview. So definitely.
Absolutely. Great.
All right.
Great.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying great job. I like that. We need to get some hot seat guests, man.
Absolutely.
we need to be talking to the people about real solutions that they could be participating in. So I love that.
Right.
All right.
So I see your comment, Erica. Real quick, she said, I disagree with physically putting your hands on a child. We can agree to disagree. I mean, tomatoes, tomato, you know what I'm saying? It's different stroke for different folks. But I do believe that there is definitely some form of discipline where, again, you have to sometimes, literally sometimes talking just doesn't work. And I'm not saying beat their ass to where, it's hard. But again, there's nothing wrong with a spanking. You can spank their little leg, spank their little butt. Let them know hey, that's not all right. You know what I'm saying? Again, because, one of the things that you definitely got to prepare your kids for is that this is a cold ass world. So there's going to be certain things that they're not going to necessarily be able to get away with if they go out disrespecting certain people, especially when you start getting out into the slums or you start getting to people who just don't know no better. It could be a matter of life and death, so.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So we can sit up there, we can play tab, we can act like, this doesn't exist and whatever, we can shelter them. But, there has to be some type of reverence because even if you're dealing on the street level, for some of these street cats, there's a thing where it's a respect. There used to be a hierarchy. You used to respect the OG. Whatever the OG would say, you know what I'm saying, then, there was a form of discipline if you went against it, so.
Nah, the YNs out here beating up the OGs now. You know what I'm saying?
What's up, Greg?
That's why I keep my pistol tucked. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So, I digress. But going into the next portion of the show, I know it's something that we don't like to talk about, but it's politics. Politics is something that we all got to go through, whether you're black, white, Asian, or whatever. Politics affect us all. So, you know what I'm saying? So here we are with some more politics because Trump recently came out and had his State of the Union address where he addressed the Congress for the very first time. And he, it was a snooze fest to a certain extent till this guy had something different for the State of the Union.
I was making it clear to the president that he has no mandate to cut Medicaid. I have people who are very fearful. These are poor people, and they have only Medicaid in their lives when it comes to their health care. And I want him to know that his budget calls for deep cuts.
Yeah, we would have been here all day. You know what I'm saying? But all right. So the thing about it is that normally we would expect this from the MAGA crowd because we can't necessarily say that this is a Republican crowd, you know what I'm saying, or whatever, because we know it's definitely a difference between a MAGA Republican and then a Republican. And so normally we would expect like this type of behavior from the MAGA Republicans, as we've seen what happened with January 6th. But, this guy decides to blur it out. And as much as, I don't like, Trump, you know what I'm saying? I don't like his politics. I don't like the people that associate with him. I don't like the way he walk, talk, dress, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Calm down.
You know what I mean? But at the same time, I think there is a certain type of respect that you have to give this dude. I don't know. I think it was in poor taste. I get it. The emotions are high. you know, but and that was Rep Al Green, you know, from Texas. I get it, bro. Trust me, I get it. But there's a time and place for all that.
Really?
What do you think?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Well, what's your thoughts, Adoration?
You first.
Now I'm curious. Nah, because you said really, real.
No, go ahead.
He went like 3 octaves. You know, you went really.
Yeah. I was just like, whoa.
Go ahead.
But go, Quince. You go first, please. Go first. You deserve it.
Listen, man, I'm agree with my brother Third. Yeah, everybody know I don't pick either side of the aisle. You know what I'm saying? I'm a policy based individual. I pay attention to the words and actions that people use. What I didn't agree with, whether you are indifferent to that man or not, he's still a U.S. sitting president. There is some type of decorum that you need to have in a public setting. Now, what you catch him on, you know what I'm saying, in the hallways at the White House, whatever, you say what you need to say. You know what I'm saying? That's your business. But on national TV, I think the Democrats did a large disservice to their constituents by behaving like children. That's my take.
Okay. All right. So here's the thing. All right. In my opinion, I think in reality, and even Mega is now starting to lose it.
MAGA.
Because of what Trump's doing. I think that in reality, if we were dealing, how you doing, Greg? If we were dealing with a respectful office candidacy, whatever you want to call it, whatever they are, then I can understand the respect. You know, it's almost like in that Senate meeting where the lady says something about Jasmine's eyelashes, and then she's like, boom, 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 boom. And
she said we can take it outside.
Yeah, but take it outside is too far for that. The lady just said something and she responded. And I think that, you know, with Donald Trump in particular, now Democrat, Republican, whatever you want, but with Donald Trump in particular, he is so disrespectful, so rude. And it's not just being rude. It's not just loud. You can just be like, oh, he's a child. Now he's actually dismantling your entire, like, people fought for these rights. I'm not talking about black people. I'm talking about white people. That's why they're getting mad now. People fought for this freedom. People built the system, and there are generations of people. I'm talking about on all sides, black, white, indigenous, whatever. And he's just like, no, you're going to die. Medicaid is something, like, when you actually, like, a lot of people, they don't know anything about it. They didn't know that a lot of this came from Obamacare. So they were fighting against Obamacare. They're like, oh my God, how are my kids going to survive? This is more serious. This is not just, you know what I mean? So in my opinion, you know, I do understand as black people or people of non-white, whatever, you should probably act a little different because they will call you a thug at any chance they get. But even white people lost it. Like, people in the government have lost it. Like, they're like, oh no. I think it's a little past that time to have, you know, a civil conversation and this and that. It's time to get up and do something, because, I mean, I already knew about this a very long time ago, so I already know it's too late. But from other people's perspective, before it's too late, America is about to see something that it's never seen in its lifetime. The stock market is through the ground, and it's about to fall so hard. U.S. aid is cut. So like the lady said who had the farm, she's like, I'm a Trump supporter. I voted for him all 3 times. She's like, the U.S. is not buying our crops anymore and selling it abroad. She's like, our farmers are over today. They're over. Everything's rotting. It's over. So what's happening now is actually more so, and I'm going to say this, I'm not sure if this is an act of war. That's just the truth.
It's starting to look like it. Real quick, I don't mean to cut you off real quick. No. Greg, what are your 3 cents? I need 3 cents. 3 cents, not $1.
You're on mute, Reverend Do Right.
Oh yeah, you muted yourself.
There you go.
Okay.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. It's on
Okay,
you.
drop your 3 cents real quick.
On what subject? The discipline of kids or the...
We moved on from that one. we're on Trump's State of the Union address. So
State
real
of the
quick,
Union?
real quick. You know, we had a Democrat who disrupted the State of the Union address. But all right, real quick though. So a friend of mine named KJ, you know, we used to perform together out in Hollywood, you know what I'm saying, talented actress. You can see her on Sistas. She made news by making some comments.
Born on the Bailey Circus.
What'd you say, Greg?
Ringling Brothers, Barnum Bailey Circus. That's what it is right now. That's what our government is. A 3-ring circus.
That's a lie.
No doubt. So my friend KJ had made some comments, and here goes the comments right here. Keep you on the wrong one.
I was making it clear to the president that he has no mandate to cut Medicaid.
Community. Understanding our roots, I think it's really important. I think we're not trapped here. With the political climate that's going on in the United States of America, we are not trapped here. There are places that we can go. There are countries that are receiving us back, citizenship back. And I think...
All right. So, yeah, she made these comments basically stating that, you know, due to the political climate that we as Black Americans are not trapped here. And I know we only got 8 more minutes. So if folks can drop their 3 cents real quick on that, you know, this will be something that we can pick up for the next show. We just kind of ran out in a little bit of time. You know, I think the child abuse and discipline thing kind of took a little. But what are your guys' thoughts on that?
I agree. I'm already doing it. Next.
Well, it's kind of by default though, but
No. This is why we left. We already knew about this. I've been knowing about this all my life.
Well, damn.
Yes.
All right, Greg.
Well, so I'll go ahead. So the thing is, I get it, and all due respect to her, she's super cool, mad cool. But you know, the reality of it is that it's not everybody can afford to do so. And I don't necessarily agree with necessarily running away from the problem, you know, saying that is at hand. You know, saying I get it. I get it that the political climate is jacked up. This is truthfully the worst that I've seen it in my lifetime. And mind you, we lived through Bush and his war. But at the end of the day, Trump makes Bush look like Einstein. You know what I mean? But we've lived through Trump before. And again, I believe that we as people can live through him again. It's going to get tight. It's definitely going to get tight for those who are making a certain amount of money. But I don't necessarily think that running away is the solution. I believe in strategizing, organizing, and then mobilizing. You know, this is the time right now where if you really want to see some action within the community, you know, we have to organize, you know, put your political parties aside, Democrat, Republican, Independent, Black Panther, whatever, come together for a collective and start organizing on some solutions on what we want to see. And then we need to mobilize. We need to actually execute and put those into motion.
But do what? That's what I want to ask, though, because we talk about
to have a political voice. Because again, as you can see, they always come to us. Well, we need the Black voice. We need the Black voice. We need this, and both of them try to cater to Black people. You know what I'm saying? Whether you got Democrats rocking around dashikis or Donald Trump bringing Tiger Woods out to a Black History event at the White House, even though he's cutting DEI and wants to get rid of Black History Month altogether within the thing, it just don't make no damn sense. But they all try to cater to Black people when they want something out of us. So if they want something out of us, no, you have to give us something back. But in order to get something back as a people, we need to organize to figure out what is it that the hell that we want. We need to come together as a collective, put it away our differences and start moving as one. And therefore, if we try to elect somebody to have a voice or have a seat in this political climate, then, you know, if they don't get enough votes, then hey, then here goes our vote right here as a collective. If you want our vote, Democrat or Republican or even independent, this is what we need, and we need it in writing, and we need it. We need a contract. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, if you don't uphold your end of the deal, get out of here.
But most of Black people did vote for who we voted for. It doesn't.
I know that. But there's still a pocket of Black men who did not feel comfortable enough voting for Kamala Harris.
That's true. No, a lot of people say straight up, I would rather have Satan running this country than a woman. I heard it right out of their mouth.
Oh man, we're not. Hey, listen, we're not going there tonight. We're not doing that.
I'm just saying the point.
So we're not putting that on Black men.
I didn't say that. What I'm saying is still the majority of Black men voted for Kamala. All I'm saying is the majority of Black men. Yeah, there's those far left ones with the crazy whatever's going on in their mind, but still the majority of Black men voted for that. So the majority of Black people stuck together. Now, the other communities, they can't say the same. They were split. But the majority of Black people voted together.
I hear you.
That's what I'm saying.
Real quick, Greg, go ahead. Drop your 3 cents real quick. We got like 4 minutes.
I can only say a 3-ring circus. We have to look for a solution instead of looking at the problem.
Yeah. But hey, Black people, we gotta stop responding emotionally. That's my solution for you. Stop being emotional. If anybody's ever stood up to atrocities in America, it's been us. If anybody ever stood on business about what's right and what's wrong, it's always been us. We have been the moral compass of America. White people didn't wake up one day and say, hey, you know what? Slavery's bad. Maybe we should just stop treating them like this. No. We fought for everything, so I'm never going to agree with us running anywhere. That's just my take on it. We have been the moral compass of this country, and without us, America goes to shit. So putting your political parties aside, putting your religions aside, putting your Greek affiliations aside, putting your economic status aside, there needs to be a code of ethics amongst Black people, right? That's really what it boils down to. Because when you start creating organizations and shit, money gets funneled through and no results ever come up because there's too much infighting inside. There just needs to be a code of ethics. This is the direction that we want the Black community to go in. Either you are aligned with that or you need to move out the way. Very simple. I don't think we have to dig too deep to find out what's going on with that. Align with the movement or get out the way.
Agreed.
That's it.
So we will definitely put a toothpick in this, and we'll come back on another time. You know, I know we ran out of time, so it's partly my fault. I wasn't watching the clock. You know, but I hear what KJ's saying. Like, I think if you're going to choose to live abroad for another reason, not because you're running away from political tyranny. Because at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? It ain't going to last. You know, you have to get out there and you have to vote if you want some solution.
Listen, the reason when God told Joseph and Mary to get out the way with the baby, because the guy was coming through and killing all the baby boys, sometimes you got to move out of the way. The Bible says a good man perceiveth evil and hideth himself. Sometimes you got to move out. Everything, you know, everything's not just, I'm not saying you shouldn't die for certain causes. And that's why I respect the guy who stood up, because sometimes you got to die for a cause, but that's not always the. I'm sorry.
I got you. Yeah, well, you went out for a minute. But we ran out of time. We got 2 more minutes left. I'm sorry, you guys. I did not mean to do that. You know what I'm saying? I don't mean to be cutting folks off. Thank you, Erica. Thank you for those who tuned in on Facebook, on YouTube. Hit the like, share, subscribe button. Make sure you guys are sharing, please. We will be here next week. Also, I'm sorry we forgot to give you guys an after party, and we will do that sometime during this month when we have a free time. You know what I mean? But we want to thank you for supporting and watching us. For those who come through, we love you, and we will see you next week. And y'all be safe out there. Peace.
Peace out.